And we are good. All right. Perfect. Shalom, friends. Welcome to episode 2 of Resubbed, the World of Warcraft podcast for casual players. My name is Raymond, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Michelle. Michelle, how's it going?
It is going well.
Yeah? What's
Yeah.
anything cool about, or what did you do World of Warcraft-wise this week since we last met?
Nothing
Nothing?
for the first time.
What do you mean? Did you not
No,
play?
I'm just kidding. No. I was leveling the monk.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Where's he at now?
and then I took one day off for my birthday. Actually, make that two.
Hey.
She is 105
Ooh.
now. So I'm getting close. I want her 120 before the expansion comes out.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but do you have a covenant in mind for this one already? Now that you've
Oh,
actually touched in and seen a little bit behind the
yeah.
curtain and
I
spoiled
don't
yourself?
know because I saw, so after watching, which, like you said, we're going to talk about in a bit, but after watching these shorts, I want to roll a rogue.
Okay. Yeah. No, for sure. I do too.
I, I was like, okay, I guess the monk can be Necrolord, I guess,
Yeah. I can see that.
because
They're kind of warrior-ish,
not,
right?
not, right,
Not
right.
warrior-ish, but
They're
like fighting, like they're
military,
military-ish. There
military,
you go.
yeah. Um, Definitely not Night Fae or, I mean, there's no other place to put her.
That makes sense.
I think it
Plus,
would just be
plus it's
Necrolord.
kind of a robot, right? So I mean, how mecha
Yes,
is your gnome? And see, I was thinking about this today.
this is true.
If your mecha gnome is like mostly mecha, and it dies, does it have a soul to go into the Shadowlands for?
It's a good question.
Right?
So,
Right?
so you haven't made one yet, right?
No, not yet. Because
So,
yeah,
so you can actually, when you create one, you can make them
var-
look more.
varying degrees of.
Right,
Okay,
exactly, exactly. So I think mine is like 50-50,
okay.
I want
Because
to say.
do you remember old school RoboCop when it's just literally
Yeah,
his?
yeah.
It's just his face is the only thing human. That's so creepy.
Yes.
Like I would think if RoboCop
I know.
died, he would not go to the or like he would be in a weird form of Shadowlands. Anyways, that's
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, good to know. So you've been leveling. That's funny because I've been leveling my Dark Iron Hunter. So he's 62, and now he's
Nice.
in Howling Fjord, which is probably one of the favorite zones in Wrath of the Lich King. That's when things start looking really nice. So that's nice. Plus, it's super easy to level as a hunter. It's ridiculous. You just
Yeah,
point at
I
things
know.
and things die. It's so easy.
And you're Beastmaster, right?
Yeah, and I'm Beastmaster.
Yeah.
And I know I'm sucking at this because like I have 4 Beastmaster slots. I have these buttons. I don't know what they do, and I'm just like,
You're like, which one do I
what do I
press
do? And
first?
I just end up doing the same thing, which is just kill commanding and viper shotting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well that's working fine. But yeah, no. After I got Pathfinder, I kind of like laid off of playing the paladin for a while, and I'm kind of casually grinding rep because of the buff, but not like hardcore. It's like if I see that there's a emissary quest for a faction that
Yeah.
like it's a huge $3,000 or $3,000 3,000 rep
Rep.
like game
Yeah.
like at a thing. So I'll do those things, but pretty much like I feel like I'm wrapped up for now. I'm playing that paladin just because I don't feel like there's really much that I want to do more with him.
Yeah.
So it's all just about finding the alts. Now that I've seen all 4 of the animated shorts, now I like kind of have like a idea of what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's about now which alts do I really want to bring to this. So yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, we should start talking about it because yeah, the as of today, the last or the 4th animated short for Shadowlands has come out. This one was for Revendreth, which is the what's the name of their
Vent there.
the vent there? Thank you. Basically, the vampires, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna talk about all 4 because we haven't talked about it yet. But we're gonna start with this one because it's the new and it's the hot. I watched it today at let's see around lunchtime when it came out. I think you just told me about it, and
Yeah.
then I was looking at my phone and I was eating. I was like, wow, that was awesome. And then so I stopped and I went to my big ass TV and I turned it on YouTube and watched
You're
it.
like,
And,
let me
like,
just. I need to
this
see
is
this
way
on
better.
big screen.
This is way better because that
Yeah.
was probably my favorite of all the four. But yeah, what did you think? Seeing as you kind of watched them all at once, because
I did, yeah. That I think that was probably my favorite one. But then I also liked the Kyrian one
of
as
course,
well.
yep, that one was dope.
Because there was a little twist at the end.
We need to talk about it. Yeah, we need to talk about
And
it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like I like when there's a little twist. I mean, they all did, right? They all had a little twist
To
at
the
the
most
end.
part, yeah. To like a certain degree, that kind of it's a little bit.
But it was just the last one was interesting because of the music and how he sounded so prideful and like, but they're definitely flawed.
Yeah.
100%, you know. But it's like high society and taking from the poor, giving to the rich, and just evil people. They're definitely evil, which is why I thought, ooh, warlock.
That's a good spot. Yeah, I thank you. That's a good fit for that place.
Yeah.
I was thinking when I watched that, what the heck? There's not rogue, although rogue would be pretty good in there too. But I was thinking shadow priest would be a good fit in there.
Yes, it was that or shadow priest. Because my shadow priest is already 120. If I don't level my lock, then it would definitely be her.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But then I thought, ooh, I don't know what to do with my mage, so.
But it's like, for me, it's like thinking about a shadow priest fit. Like, you can almost already roleplay in your head as a really snotty, arrogant shadow priest that's a complete dick.
For sure.
And he's like,
yes,
I fit right in here. This is great.
Yeah.
Plus,
especially the light forged Draenei.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be a cool. That's actually what I was thinking about. I was gonna roll.
There's
a
like
light forge.
the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a light forge who's really good using a shadow priest. So he's kind of like a double betrayer in a certain way, and he's a dick.
Yeah.
Like that's come on, like just an arrogant jerk. That's just the best thing.
It's perfect.
And also somebody who is probably because not to get ahead of myself, but like the main guy who's talking to Denethrius, I think is his name, or I'm saying that wrong, but he's a leader of the Venthyr there, who's just completely smug. Exactly what you're saying, prideful the way he talks. He's like, that's what really sold that whole cinematic to me, was just him, that voice actor, and that talking, that speech was just so perfectly like condescending. It was condescending, it was smug, and it was like super fake all at once.
Oh yeah.
And it was like so well played. And really resonating, like with just like current times too, just and
exactly.
And so I can't imagine, and I don't know, I might have read somewhere else, but like he's probably going to be like either a dungeon boss or a raid boss. You know, he's somebody that you want to take down just because he's such an arrogant jerk, and obviously just serving the rich and powerful which is cool. Like, what do you think of that concept that this is the most, I feel like, of all the covenants have this weird, like, I don't know, holy, they take themselves too seriously almost. And then there's these guys who are clearly having fun torturing souls and draining power off of them, and they're almost flippant about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and it almost looks like it's a sport to them, and it's for entertainment purposes for the most part. That's why I think throwing a party is one of the side things that you do in that covenant, which is something else, which I read about.
I mean, it's vampire-esque.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like true vampires.
It's like the vampire life.
The old, I guess old school. The old school excessive European rich vampires.
Like Queen of the Damned.
Yes. So yeah. And what else did you think about the animated short?
That was Garrosh, right?
Yes, that was Garrosh. How cool was that?
Yeah.
I thought that was
yeah.
And he's like just a super powered tortured soul. Like he's a crazy battery of of anguish and pride, and that's like how bad he did in his life, that his punishment is so great that and he's still giving off a ton of energy, probably to the point where he's maybe wanted to, remember in the voiceover he's saying like they still have their workhorses or their their main ones that are still chugging along, and they're still being able to provide at least a baseline amount of anima, which looks like
but
blood.
then he did mention that they were coming to an end, I think, right?
Exactly.
That he was...
But even then they have their limits, you know what I mean, like at some point, so they're going to need to find a better source. That was awesome. Like just that opening sequence, you're like, oh, what's going on? Like,
you're like, ooh, what is happening? Dungeon?
Gripping.
What?
And maybe you think away. I was trying to think about it too, was like the reason I think I like the Revendreth animated short the best, even though I really, at first I was coming into this, I was going to say I like the Bastion one the best, or the Kyrian one the best, but I think I like this one the best because if I was a player, like a real casual player coming into World of Warcraft, and I watched all 4 of those, that's the only one where I don't have to have any like previous knowledge of kind of anything to really grasp what's going on. Like, and just to see it, and it's complete. The whole setup is intriguing, as it is, and it's told, like I said, so well and executed so well, like that animated short. And you get a sense like, all right, well, if I'm a new player and I jump into this Revendreth society, I know that I'm taking part in this weird, rich class, wealthy class versus a poor class, and like basically treating them like slaves and trying to gather this dwindling resource. How am I going to be, how do I fit into all this? Am I going to be somebody that overthrows those people, or do I join in and like be an oppressor as well, kind of thing? So it's like, for me, it's like, okay, I don't need to know anything else about Warcraft, but because that part, that's cool in and of itself without any explanation at all. But what do you think?
No, for sure. Because like, I mean, same with I liked the first one, or was that the first one? I don't even know.
The first one was,
was it Bastion?
The Bastion one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and like you said, it's like coming in, you wouldn't know like who's Uther and who's, like who was his student, like who are we talking about here?
It's very dramatic what you see, right? Like,
it's super dramatic.
There's no context to it
there's no context, not for new players, right? Or casual players, new casual players coming in.
Right.
I mean, because we've played since vanilla,
we
obviously
played
know
Warcraft 3, like
right, exactly. So we obviously know who this person is, right? And with this with the, is it Revendreth?
Which one? The
Venthyr,
the Venthyr, yeah.
Revendreth,
yeah.
Like you said, it's almost like a new game.
Yeah, and
do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It is like cool.
It's like, whoa, what?
It's like super dark, you know what I mean? It's dark, but it's also at the same time, I hate to say playful, but like kind of a little bit whimsical. Like it doesn't take itself terribly seriously, but it's got a good flavor.
The music
to it.
helps.
The music, the music helps. The visuals of that whole thing help. So.
And I just love vampires.
Me too. And I'm curious to see, like,
I'm into that.
What vampires were in World of Warcraft? There was a Lich King, right? Wrath of the Lich King raid. There was the Vampire Queen, and then the Vampire the Vampire Council, the 3 vampire dudes.
Yes.
The Caladrim or something like that. And then the Vampire Queen, and then they didn't really explain what they were, other than just generally vampires.
Blood sucking.
Yeah. Like, okay, they have vampiric powers, or so to speak. I'm also curious to know how vampire are they? Because remember at the end of the short, the dude was thrust into the sunlight, but
then he turned into dust.
But is there sunlight in the Shadowlands? Like,
that's a good question.
I guess it's tripping me out as like how I'm supposed to conceptualize the Shadowlands. Like, because it almost feels like, okay, well, it's like you die, you're a spirit, you manifest into something else, but then you can die again. Like, and then what? Like, and then like do you go somewhere else?
Because they're the like the four realms, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the Maw.
Yeah.
So, isn't it that the souls go to the Maw?
Well, I think the overall story is that the jailer who's in charge of the Maw, right?
Yeah.
Who I'm sure we'll talk about in some other episode. He has somehow found a way to break the normal process of how souls get distributed evenly across the different realms, right? So now, instead of going through the due process and making sure everybody gets sorted out correctly, they're all just going straight to the maw regardless. And the maw is like basically hell. Like you're not supposed to be able to get out of it. It's like a black hole of stuff. So I'm assuming, based off of that description, that jailer's somehow gaining a lot of power, probably to find a way to get himself out of the maw or take over something or another.
Right.
That's generally
Dungeon.
speaking how this works. Yeah. A raid.
Yeah.
This is the raid boss. This is the final raid
Yeah.
boss. Is a jailer. And so
Okay.
that's the story of why, like, in pretty much every short, there's something off about everything. Like the Maldraxxus, Maldraxxus, they're unable to defend themselves somehow, and so it causes a break in their armies or whatever. And then obviously the Ardenweald one was the forest, and then the Kyrian one is their path, that they call it, their their 5-step plan, I guess, somehow that they're really obviously like so
the whole point
is like flawed, and now it's like throwing off their whole, like, their vibe's off. But yeah,
I think so with Meldrax, so I was with the Necrolords. Is it Draka? It's Draka, right?
Yeah, Draka
is her name.
That is Thrall's mom.
Yeah, so she was dead, right?
She was. Yeah, well, remember the beginning.
So that's the whole. Yeah.
The beginning of
it was just. I was just surprised to see her there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, we should talk about that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So let's. Any final thoughts on the Revendreth? Besides, it was awesome, because it was awesome. I thought that was my favorite animated short. I think it sold for me a lot, and now after watching all 4, that helps sell. Like, okay, now I'm really interested. Now I have to have a character in that covenant for sure.
In that covenant, yeah. No, I mean, other than, like you said, that it's awesome, I think.
Yeah.
I just can't wait till Shadowlands, because I don't want to talk about BFA yet, but
no, we will.
Let's move on to the other covenants.
All right. Do you want to go back in chronological order from the beginning, or just want to go back reverse?
Sure.
All right, let's go.
I don't even know if I watched them in order, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess this one would be talking about the Kyrian one, the Bastion one, the blue people, the blue angels.
Yeah.
What did you think of that one? Because that was all straight up. That's all nostalgia, like.
Yeah. That one, I mean, I liked it only because she kind of defied the leader toward in the end, which is what I meant about the twist at the end that I really liked.
I like that too. And for some reason,
that she just was like, fucking, I'm gonna do what I want.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. For some reason, the first time I saw that, I just didn't pick up on that they're actually disobeying orders. I caught it this time. I was like, oh, yeah, that really throws stuff off. Then, like, she's really going rogue by herself.
Because she warned them that there was something wrong, and they were just like,
ignoring
law and order. Everything is, like you said, there's this process, and they have to stick to this process, and they can't deviate from this process. And so it's like, the reason why, like I said, I liked it because she said, I'm just going to do what I want, to...
And isn't that like every working person's dream? Like to be able to say, screw it.
Like stick it to the man?
Yeah, like in order for me to do my job, I need to do something else, and break the rules, because you're not like, your stupid policies and stuff are not allowing me to do what I'm supposed to do.
It's because, just like Venthyr, that there's a flaw, right? Yeah. They're flawed.
Uh-huh.
So,
if anything, is like they're too rigid in their thinking. Yeah, not open-minded.
Yeah, exactly. But it was good to see like the flashbacks of like Uther and with that sword. I have that sword. Yeah. But I instantly thought Paladin, obviously. Mm-hmm. My Paladin.
Holy
for
priest,
that.
Right. That's for sure, or discipline even.
But so can you, if I say I don't level my warlock and I use my priest for Venthyr, I can't do both covenants for one character, correct?
You have to choose one or the other, and if you choose one, the first one, and you somehow want to break up with them, it's going to cost you to time and effort to level up to the other covenants. And that's kind of what that's some like what people are complaining about too, is like, dude, like We don't want
So
to have
you're
this
in it
over
forever.
You're in it, yeah. Commit. So this is why I think, as weird as it sounds, I think it's easier to have 4 separate characters to play through each covenant than it is to take
Yeah.
your single character. And I think that'll be
For
honestly
sure.
probably funner to play. To be completely honest with you.
I think so.
But yeah, so yeah, huge story beats for this one, going back to when Uther was murdered in Warcraft 3 by Arthas, and then again to the end of the raid of the Lich King raid, which, gee, that's when we were raiding. That was the end of the raid that we were raiding
Yes, that was actually.
And then it's cool
I don't
to
think
see...
we even killed him.
No, we never got to actually...
Yeah, we didn't get to finish.
We got to the Lich King, but I don't think we ever got to kill him.
Yeah.
But you got to see, like, now what Arthas's dying words kind of have a different meaning, because he's like, all I see is darkness. Well, it's because that chick's putting her hand on your face, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really liked it because that was going to be my favorite one, because, like I said, it's so heavy on the story. But not only does it just like rehash old characters for the sake of like bringing them back, it actually tells more of a story, and leaves you with more questions. Like, okay, so what does this mean now? Again, for the Kyrian, because that Devos, I think the really tall angel blue lady, she went rogue and turn Uther into an Ascended before it was actually time for him to do that. And on top of that...
He was still wounded.
Yeah, and Arthas wasn't routed necessarily properly,
right?
To the Maw. They just dropped him off there. And it was mostly on her thinking, like, saying, like, hey, this dude has a piece of the Maw in him, and that shouldn't exist. That's why she was freaking out. She's like, dude, like, all the, quote, darkness is contained in the Maw, but it turned out it wasn't, and some of that was existing... I thought it was just in Frostborn, but apparently it also existed somehow in Arthas, too,
Arthas.
which is why they dropped him off into the Maw. But that's not necessarily where he was meant to go to begin with. So that leaves, like, a big question. And then also, going back to Revendreth, is like, okay, so we know what Garrosh did, and the extent of his crimes, and like, or the extent of how much destruction he caused in his time. And so his appropriate punishment is to go to Venthyr, right, where he's been tortured for a very long time, apparently to the point where he's a super battery now. How does that stack up with Arthas? Would he have gone to Venthyr for his stuff, or was he destined to be in the Maw? Because if Arthas, I don't know, but I think the possibility that Arthas going into Maw was not the right move, or wasn't what was supposed to happen, is like a really it's a super compelling story in and of itself. Because not that I want to see Arthas redeem necessarily, but it would be... I wouldn't mind if I saw an extension of what happened, like a final, like, okay, this is it. Kind of what they did to Illidan, right? Like, Illidan died at the end of the Black Temple. Am I the only one who thought he died at the end of the Black Temple?
But he's not. He wasn't.
He wasn't.
No.
I don't know where I read, or was it somewhere? Because it was a complete shock to me when he was like in a crystal. I was like, whoa, is this like alternate?
Something we missed.
No, I was just like, what the hell? I thought it was dead this whole time. Anyways, but he got
But he didn't. Yeah.
He got his redemption story, and then he got a cooler continuation. So that's awesome. But yeah, with that said, that was the Kyrian one was really cool. That to me was like, I really love that short, because I thought the Kyrian and the Bastion would probably be the most boring of the 4 covenants. Like, just reading about it, it's like, oh, they're just
order
rigid.
and purpose.
They're police people. They're policemen, or they're cops, basically. They maintain order of things. Okay, yay, they live in heaven, or
right, exactly.
Marble. That's not, now as we get older, that's not my idea of heaven. Is not marble and clouds.
I know, right? In the clouds.
No,
like
my idea of heaven
gold
is a floating boat sushi restaurant, like a giant with all different kinds
your
of sushi.
own idea.
Never ending. That's my heaven right there. But with that said, I want to go buy I want to for sure get my protection pally into that thing, because I think that's the funnest there. So yeah, that's Kyrian and Bastion, and I know that there's a whole bunch of, like, I haven't myself looked at the different abilities that go with each covenant, but I kind of don't want to do that right now, because I feel like it just spoils what's fun
I
about
kind of
the game.
skipped through that part.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking through
And then this is
just
when
the
you get,
content, and I was like, I'll scroll
and this
past
is like
that
right
part.
now is like what's kind of semi-controversial in like other communities or people on like on forums are just complaining. It's like, well, if you want the most powerful protection, you have to be in this covenant, or else you're gonna miss out on this. But I was like, that's not the fun way to play. Like it should be
Yeah.
like, surprise, you got this cool power, do something with
Yeah.
it. It's neat. Who cares if it's not like the best thing? It's still kind
Well,
of
see,
neat.
that's the thing, because we're casual, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is for all y'all who don't care about that argument. It's fine. Just enjoy the game and have
Just do
fun.
what you want.
Love the flavor because that's what I'm coming through it. But the next animated short after that was Maldraxxus with Draka. That was the one that came after
Okay.
that one. So for me, I didn't know who Draka was outside of being Thrall's mom. That's it. Like I didn't know anything else. Like her backstory or
Did you
how she came
watch
about.
the World of Warcraft movie?
I saw that and I saw a little bit of her. And you know what's funny is like
Okay.
that movie is terrible.
It is.
Half of that movie is terrible. You know which half? The live action half. The actual human characters were awful. The orc part, they should have just made a movie of just the orc part because that was compelling and better acted apparently and way more entertaining than all the crap. Everything to do with the humans was super like cheesy and hokey and
Yeah.
it was very
It was pretty
uncomfortable.
bad.
It was like
Yeah.
it's better than the last Airbender movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
Hey,
No.
Stop.
Don't.
I like that movie.
No.
Okay, you know what? Do you want to know why I think I like that movie?
Oh, I don't, but you're gonna tell me.
I'm no. I'm like really into like score, like music.
Okay, you like the score?
So, yes,
That's
I think it's
fine. That's a good.
It's the music.
But I'm just gonna point out the
The
fight.
acting is horrible.
Dude, the acting's horrible. The pronunciation of the names is horrible.
Yeah.
The action is horrible. The kid's face,
Yeah.
The ong, not ang, by the way, ong.
Yeah.
With the round ong.
Yeah.
His face just bothered me. There's a point in the movie where he actually drools real quick.
Oh, really?
I
gotta rewatch
me
it.
and Ashley we were watching it just because to see how bad it was. And it's a scene where he's like, they're at the air temple and he's crying or he's like breaking down because like of what happened. Obviously the air temple got
Right.
raided. And it's kind of like a close up, but real quick, the actor unfortunately like he drools a little bit.
Oh my god!
And the
I'm gonna
HD like
watch
I don't
that.
think you can see it on like a far away, but because like my TV was really close.
Your TV, yeah.
And I had the baby, I was like looking at it.
Was he just
I was
drooling?
like,
right
oh my
now?
god, he just hella drooled. And we like rewind it, like, yep, that's definitely drool.
Oh my god!
And then-
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it.
But the best scene, the one that we like crack up all the time, is when they're the firebenders they're having that fight. They're getting the earthbenders
In
to
the
fight
town?
in the town. And
Yeah.
there's like a whole gang of earthbenders, and they're all doing a coordinated earthbending move. And then the whole result is a tiny rock.
Tiny little yeah. Yep. I know what you mean. Because it's like these tiny little pebbles, you know? Like it's just
I like die every time, dude. That's like an animated gif of like it's like you and your sales team, and you have like a like you barely just get by that month.
yeah. I know. I was thinking of that too. I was like, wait, what? I don't even really see anything. Like, what are they doing?
It's like I don't.
You know?
What I don't get is
Like-
like they made that. Somebody went through the effort of putting that scene together. It's like, all right, here we go. What do you guys think? And then somebody goes, you know what? Yeah, that looks good, dude. Like,
Yeah.
somebody signed off on that. And then
I
you can
know.
see, could you add a few more rocks? Could you make it a little bit more
I know,
dramatic?
make it a
Like,
boulder.
can you-
Something, right?
You have CGI, right? Where
Yeah.
It's like-
That's true. That part
Oh,
was a
thank
little
you.
horrible.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, this has been the Last Airbender, the movie podcast, where we talk
I know, right?
about-
For the past 10
We're going to
minutes.
talk about... All right, we got to talk about Maldraxxus and Draka. All right, but yes, I did see her in a World of Warcraft movie. She was fine, but again, I didn't really know much about her backstory of what.
Yeah.
But apparently,
I didn't even know she was a rogue.
she really wasn't, and that's the thing that kind of confused me because I did a little bit of like back research on this. She was just kind of like a warrior character, like generally just swung her thing. I don't recall her ever being necessarily rogue, but I think it kind of mentions in the short that she learned new skills while she's here, and I excelled at them. And then you show the whole montage of her like training.
That's right.
And beating up the wooden dummies thing, and so I think her new life
she learned,
in her new life is to be a rogue, and she was clearly a rogue because they made that the stealth sound every single time. So it's like, all right, well, you have to be a rogue, right?
She's a rogue. There's
got to be something. There's something here between.
Unless the warriors will somehow have that ability.
Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe. Why not?
You never know.
That would be a covenant ability to make everybody have like a stealth. Like, that'd be kind of cool, right?
Maybe.
How would that be for a rogue though? Like, you're extra stealth? Do you just?
I know.
You just don't exist anymore.
Well, maybe
you phase.
Maybe it'll be
cool.
You can stealth for warriors, but you can't move.
Oh, like a night meld? Remember, like the night elf racial?
Right, like night. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I don't know.
Cool.
We'll see.
But so apparently she's a rogue. She's kicking ass as a rogue.
She was the key.
She was the key, which was nice.
I think she didn't realize at first. She was like,
"Oh, it's me.
Me.
Oh, I'm so honored. Thank you."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
that was cute.
It was cute. I would say though that overall, like if I was a casual person walking, I was really confused. Like for I had to watch it like a couple times. Like, okay, it's a lot of maps going on here, and for some reason stuff's breaking, and we don't know why. And
then there's this orc with like undead.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, and then she thinks that they're friends.
This one orc,
but they all look evil anyway. And then when they turn on her, you're like, well, duh, they look evil anyway. So and then you go, and then your buddy is an even more evil-looking dude, which is kind of cool. I like that they don't necessarily. I think it's kind of cool the idea that the good guys or whatever the faction that the hero's on look like they could just be straight up villains, right? But they're not. We'll see kind of like how it plays out. But I like that they look more rougher than your average, like, oh, these guys are clearly the good faction because they look like walruses, or they look like foxes, right? Or something like that. But so
that was Naxxramas, right? That
kind of
exploded.
The idea being it wasn't Naxxramas. So the idea of Maldraxxus is that's the inspiration for the Scourge. Like, so.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
that makes
sense. Like, so Maldraxxus.
Because this is in Shadowlands.
This is in the Shadowlands. So
right.
I like to imagine like the Shadowlands is like it's existed for as long as there have been people or not people, things dying. Right. The first thing to ever die in a universe created the Shadowlands, and it's just been adding ever since, right?
Yeah.
And so when the Scourge were around, it's like maybe they're kind of, because of Arthas, now he has a connection. Now we know that there's some
they were coming through.
Yeah, so maybe he was like projecting through that like a vision of Maldraxxus, and like, well, we need to build a Scourge undead army. My reference point is Maldraxxus, right? And so it's kind of like that, but it looks like Maldraxxus has less greenish. I mean, there was a lot of green, but less gooey. Does that make sense? Like, it was more stone and like a harder military fortress feel than it was like the Scourge undead gooey. There's like green, like, Undercity is all like, it's like snot everywhere, and there's like
slime,
like like it's Nickelodeon, like it's like it's less that, more of that cool glowy like style to it. But what did you make? What? now that you kind of had like a visual of Maldraxxus, because to me, I thought that, so if I thought that Bastion was most boring, like the thing on paper, I thought Maldraxxus was like kind of the second boring, because I was just like, well, we kind of seen that before. It's like, it's what you said, it's the like the Naxxramas, what do you call this, the floating citadels, or
the floating citadel.
Yeah, we've seen that motif before in the past. It's like kind of been done to death. See what I did there.
Yeah.
With Wrath of the King. But now I like to see it. I'm just like, all right, that's kind of cool. It's like Blade Runner meets undead stuff, and like kind of has a weird Mad Max kind of feel to it. Like there's that cool, desperate. Warring, there's a big war going on and we're approaching the last battle kind of feel. So that to me makes it much more intriguing.
Yeah. I think I want to say that was probably my least favorite,
Mm-hmm.
Maldraxxus. The only thing that I liked was that, oh, Draka's in it. It's like, oh, interesting. Like she's alive and she's with the undead.
Yeah,
The
and
sport, you know?
if it was like a different character, it might not have been as cool. Or
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, well, that's,
that's
we've
someone.
seen this, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I wasn't very like I wasn't like awed. You know what I mean? I wasn't like really impressed with that one.
Okay. Did it make you want
Not,
to play through
prob-
Maldraxxus at all, or no?
not it was hard for me to think about who like how, like what character I would use, you know?
I would say
I
a
it's just
warrior straight up, right? Maybe a death knight,
pro yeah,
like a plate
yeah.
wearing, yeah, somebody who wears plate for sure.
Yes, because they're like military.
Yeah, uh,
Um
potentially mages, right?
and they're not exactly evil.
They're not exactly. They're more like honorable and like fighty. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
yeah. And then so I watched it a couple times just to kind of really grasp what was going on. So as I understand it, Maldraxxus is like the army of the undead. They're meant
Yeah,
to
they're the military.
they're meant to
Yeah.
protect the borders of the Shadowlands
Hmm.
and make sure nothing that doesn't belong there stays there. And so what you see is Draka actually infiltrating what looks to be a demon base or a Burning Legion base that somehow had established themselves in the Shadowlands, and then they're working to get rid of, right? Because that's their job, is to get rid of these incursions into the Shadowlands by whatever things. But I'm guessing because the whole expansion revolves around like the fact that the anima energy is getting sucked into the maw and it's not getting to the places where it needs to be, that their forces now, the five houses or whatever, like that were watching over Maldraxxus, or I guess the five main armies, like they got weakened, and so now one by one those armies are starting to fall. And it looks like there's only one, whatever the House of the Chosen or whatever that is, whatever house that Draka flees to,
Hmm.
that's like the last remaining army. So I'm thinking the storyline would be to rebuild that army and then slowly, and probably rebuild the houses or something like that in order to fight back whatever's causing them to collapse, kind of thing.
Well, what it looked like to me was so those were her supposed allies,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And she assumed that they were
But then
her
they had like
allies,
there's a
and then
green tint to them or something like that.
like
Like
something
yeah,
happened.
and then they turn on it. So maybe they're betrayers, right? Like maybe they're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, maybe they were maybe not influenced by magic, or just maybe they were just straight up traitors. Like let's pretend they're not undead and they're just like humans, and there's like five
Yeah.
houses, right? Like, oh, I got to get this message, and then I guess it would be the same thing as that.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I've
I think
gathered.
I think it would be interesting to see what exactly happened with that, like with that army. Like why did they attack her? What were they trying to do to stop her from, you know, passing on that note?
Right. Now that I think about it as you bring it up, maybe it's less that an outside force broke down one of the houses. Maybe it was like one of the houses started betraying the other ones. You see what
So
I'm saying?
wait a minute. This was the second one, right?
This would have been the second one that came out. Yeah.
So do you think it has anything to do with them, with Bastion, or with Kyrian?
And their path.
Sorry, with the way they handled Arthas?
I don't think so. But I
Okay.
do think it's part of the bigger story of like, here's what's happening because the resource that we're all using is suddenly no
It's
longer,
suddenly, yeah,
it's dwindling,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The life, or not life force, the anima,
Anima,
the anima.
anima.
Um, and so yeah, and so Draka is obviously the last hope for whatever. She's apparently the Jedi, last Jedi here that's gonna lead.
She's the one,
Yeah, she is. Or no, we're gonna be the one that helps the one
right?
to retake Maldraxxus. So for me, I think I'm going to. I do like Maldraxxus, but I don't think I'm gonna jump in and like. I don't think that'll be like the
The
first. Yeah,
first,
the first
yeah,
covenant I'm gonna do. But I probably would try to roll a rogue. Like I've always kind of wanted
right.
a swashbuckler rogue. I think that would be fun. So I want to see how that plays into that. Yeah, so that's Maldraxxus. So the last one we'll talk about is the Ardenweald one. That one was super melodramatic.
Yeah.
What did you think of that one?
Um, I lie. So I said the Maldraxxus or the Necrolord was my least favorite. I want to
Yes.
say Night Fae was.
Yes, I agree
Night
with
Fae
that.
was.
Correct. It
Yeah.
was my least favorite too.
And that was the first one I actually watched
Oh,
before the
oh, that's a
others.
bummer. That
I
was
know.
like that starts you
And
off
I
on like a
was,
low energy one.
yeah, I was like, what is going on here? I mean,
Mhm.
I kind of see what's going on, but I mean, instantly, like the first few seconds, I thought, okay, well, my druid would be the best for this, obviously, right?
Right.
But it's like, okay, so there's a grove and there are these spirits and he's trying to keep them alive,
Hmm.
right? And these are the good spirits, I'm assuming,
Yes. So that was
right?
apparently
So,
Ursoc. I
yeah,
found
right.
out later who was some kind of wild god
Hmm.
who died, and then I
They're
think
trying to
yeah.
bring,
Didn't they
yeah.
kill him? Did we kill him in a raid, or somebody killed him in a raid? He was a raid
I
boss,
don't,
right?
I don't think so.
Huh. He might have been.
I,
Whatever. Somebody
I
will
think he's
correct
in like
us.
Ferolis, right, or something. Yeah, somebody will.
Yeah. If anybody listens
I
to
don't
this, they're gonna
remember.
be
I have a really
screaming
bad
at us.
memory. Probably. They're probably like, why are we even watching this?
So he dies, and then he goes and turns into a blue egg.
Yeah,
And
and he's trying to protect his.
the dude, yeah, the little pan, skinny pan dude, is
Mhm.
is supposed to be protecting the grove.
He was the last one to live,
I think
to
so.
last. Yeah,
Yeah. And then
but they had to let him go.
yes, so they sucked them up because the big tree was dying. Why is everything? I mean, I get it. Trees are really cool. A giant tree is really awesome.
Yeah,
But World of Warcraft has like done big trees to death like
yeah,
so many times. It to
yeah,
the point where they're not special. Like it would have been cool if there was like, oh, there's the world tree, right? Oh shoot, there's a world tree that exists in this
yeah,
Shadowland. Of course there would be. That's cool, right?
yeah,
But there's world trees literally every new every new land you discover. Oh,
yeah.
oh look, somebody planted a world tree too.
Oh, tree. Okay.
Yay. Oh, this one fell down. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It was too like I don't know. To be honest, after watching that one, I didn't want to watch the others because I thought they would be
That's the worst.
horrible.
That's
I
like
was
the
like, did
worst
I?
thing.
Yeah, yeah. But then I thought, no, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna watch
It
them
looked great,
for Raymond.
right? Like
No, no.
it
The
looks
I think they
amazing.
did. I think they did a really good job.
Me too.
But I was just that one. I was kind of. It was
It was
boring and
boring, and what wasn't boring was a bummer. And you're just like, okay,
yeah.
well, this is just lame. And
I mean, it started off with you're like, oh, okay, that's
yeah,
cool. There's like you said, Ursoc, right?
hmm
Then he clearly dies,
hmm
right? Then after that, it was like, so there are these blue eggs,
yeah,
and he's feeding them,
with this
and
blue
then there
fruit,
are,
with the blue
yeah,
fruits, the
and then
blue
everything
fruits
is
into the blue
dying,
eggs.
yeah, and everything's dying. Then he's the last one, then he's attacking his own kind because
Mhm.
he doesn't know what's happening, and then it's like, okay,
Okay, right.
like
So you have to sacrifice.
that's it.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then like to me, I'm just like the other part of me was just like, what's gonna happen when they're eggs? Like what's supposed to happen here? Are they gonna turn into a tree? Like can you
right.
tell us what
Are they reincarnated?
yeah, how
Where they're
long
supposed to be, right?
I don't know, or how long are they supposed to be an egg, and what is this dude protecting them from for how like what's the come on man, like give me a little bit more
Yeah.
to work with here to be intrigued about why it's a big deal.
Because it's supposed to be the place of rebirth.
Is it? Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Yes,
It's a forest, right? So these
it's
are
a forest. It's the mystical forest, and it's the place of rebirth.
so are these
And so
beings meant to
that's
be reborn in life again? Or some other stuff?
yes, like
Okay.
they were good enough
Yeah,
to be reborn,
or they were part of the natural balance of things, or they got
right?
that right.
But because of what's happening with
Yeah, the anima.
everything and
Yeah,
right,
anima drought.
all the forests were dying.
Yeah, makes sense.
So they needed the energy back.
They should
So
have just
all
like
the little blue, little tiny little seeds
yeah,
they were collecting,
got
They
that.
had to take him
I
back,
just wish they would
right?
explain, like, this is the purpose of them being here, is that they're gonna eventually be reborn. It's like, oh,
Reborn.
my friend, please, your sleep will be for just, you know,
Yeah.
sleep for thousands of years, but to you it'll only be a moment, and then you'll be reborn. Like, just say
Yeah.
that. Just add that little bit, and then it becomes a little bit more like, okay, I understand the
You're like, oh, I
the
get it.
consequences of why this is
Yeah.
this is bad, like what's going on. I like the design of that queen, that winter queen. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
She was really cool. Her voice is very much like Lord
I
of the
feel
Rings-ish,
like they
though.
make, yeah, but I feel like they make the queen, like the queens all look kind of the same
Yeah, they're always
to me.
tall. They're
Yes, they're
always
always
like
tall.
lithe and somewhat muscular. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's a build to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I guess the only really one who's different is like Lady Ashvane, like just
Oh,
a completely different model.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, so that's our animated shorts. For Ardenweald, I think that Ardenweald was probably one of my two favorite ones I was leaning towards going first, right?
Yeah.
This this animated short did not help it by any means.
No.
But I think
This short was,
yeah, it
yeah.
was kind of whatever. I think I'm gonna go a hunter on this one because I think hunters always make sense with the beasts and stuff. That there's like no
Makes
fear
sense.
there. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really fit in with a dark iron hunter. You see what I mean? Like, which is what I have, because a dark iron hunter is super, to me, like a super grimy type of dwarf that's like
Yeah.
real rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Who's more comfortable with a gun than a bow. But I'll make exceptions, I guess, in this case, or I'll just roll something else.
So is that what you're gonna do? Is the hunter?
Yeah, I think so for that one,
Yeah.
because I really don't see my, I don't know, I don't see my hunter fitting in with too much stuff. The other ones really,
It's
but
hard to tell because, like you said, dark iron dwarves,
yeah,
and they're good war. There's, like to me, they look military.
they almost look like the most
You know?
hordish of the
Yeah.
Alliance races. Like they're the ones
Yeah.
that are most likely to go bad, I think.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But all
But I'm
right.
definitely gonna probably do my druid
Oh
for
right.
that for Night Fae.
What else do you have? What are you gonna do with your hunter? Are you gonna do work?
I don't know. So okay, so if I stick to the ones that I have that are maxed already,
Mm-hmm.
you know, paladin for with Kyrian, I guess druid with Night Fae. Oh, see, that's the thing. So it's my mage. I don't know what to do with my mage.
Your mage, which is your main one. Oh, dude, that's
Yeah.
the tough one. I would
Yeah.
say maybe Venthyr. I don't know. I don't know what does your what's the background of the mage in your head? What did she
So
do?
when I think about my mage, I still think of her as undead, even though I'm Alliance.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I did at first think of Venthyr.
Mhm.
That was my initial like, okay, maybe she can fit in there. Because anywhere else, it's like not really, I don't see her with any other covenant,
I
to
mean,
be honest.
I think Venthyr looks fun as hell. Like
Yeah.
now after all that, I think that's gonna like the aesthetic of it is like super grim, but again, the feeling is like kind of fun.
I think it'll be fun.
I
Yeah.
think so too, and I think yeah, maybe this will make me want to look into the Venthyr as more as like what you get as far as cosmetics go, and like kind of, and I felt like
And the special talents
yeah,
or spells. Or...
in the little yeah, but less that. I just want to see what kind of like how
Oh, the
much more you
cosmetics,
can
yeah.
like roleplay, because like and now that I don't like hardcore raid or anything like that, or I don't really care so much about mythics or getting the best gear, it's kind of fun to build a story around your character in your own head as you play. And so yeah, for sure, I think Venthyr is the way to go for Venthyr for a mage. I think that'd be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else before we wrap up our discussion on the animated shorts? Now that we've seen the last one today,
No, just that I'm pretty excited. I can't, can't wait to
aren't you glad
try
you
new content.
actually saw something about Shadowlands?
Yes, I am.
Because
I mean, I tried not to, but
I know, but I mean, we're probably gonna, yeah. I mean, because there's other big stuff coming on the horizon, including a pre-patch, which I'm sure we're gonna get to at some point. But yeah, moving on real quick, let's talk about. Man, that was a long part of our discussion for just the
there's a
animated
lot to
short.
talk about.
Let's talk about like kind of being in the the end of BFA, just what we liked most about it. Now that we're kind of in the tail end, honestly, it's not only is this the end of BFA, this is the end of the current level 1 to 120 experience. Now with the pre-patch that's going to come, and then with Shadowlands, like everything is going to be redone. We're back to 1 through 60. Max level 60, which is crazy. So that means, I guess current max level would be 50, and then we get to 60 once Shadowlands actually releases, because we have to have those 10 levels. The talents are all changing, all that up. So it feels like nothing matters. Kind of like in the real world, it feels like nothing matters.
Yeah.
Now that we have this perspective on it, and I feel like we are at the end of it, and we're in like the dot part. What do we like about BFA? What do we didn't like? And so when we think about the things that we like the most, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
That I like the most? That's a good question. I actually don't even...
That's not a trick question.
No, I said that's a good... Well, yeah. That is a trick. I don't even know, actually. I don't know, because I wasn't really, it's very grindy. Like, yes. I didn't.
Okay, let's talk
everything about everything you do, right? With N'Zoth, with like the visions, right? You can't do a vision without getting the coalescence, or you have to collect all these things to do one thing.
You have to
do
busy work for the opportunity to do...
To maybe get something.
Maybe get to do even more busy work, more focused busy work.
Yeah. And then of course, there's like the Pathfinder, the flying and stuff. I mean, that's not new.
That is.
But we talked about it. Like Mechagon was okay, but Nesmir, right? Or Nazjatar?
Nazjatar, yeah.
Nazjatar
was
I hate
a butthole. Ugh.
Yeah. That was like, I thought, my God, I'm not going to fly. This is horrible. It's never going to happen. But then it happened. Yeah. But still, it's like, I hated
every moment
being there.
Every second being in that stupid zone without flying.
Yeah.
And then everybody says, it's like, oh, it's great when you have flying. It was like, that's not the point. I have to be there while I'm grounded, like without any option in order to get flying, in order to enjoy it. Now I hate it. Now you're telling me to come back and enjoy it. That's not how that works.
And I think even so, that plus the mythics, like I've tried it, and you've tried it, right? Have you?
I've done for BFA. I've lightly dabbled in mythics. Like when during Legion, I played a little bit more into that before I totally just fell off the face of the earth. But yeah, I can't really say I messed around with mythics too much here.
Okay, so. I guess because I kind of missed Legion, but
Legion good. Legion was so good.
Legion was good. Yeah, I actually wish that I played through that, because I liked when I was going for the Lightforged. Yes. It was actually fun doing all the quests and stuff. But just with BFA, I don't know. It felt like I was doing too much to get very little.
It's like, okay, I'm going to grind over here. Now I'm going to go grind over here. And
let me just go grind some more.
I'm burned out of this grind. Let's go start up this grind, because this is the thing. Yeah, I definitely that's on my shit list too. The whole Azerite system of grinding that, like having to grind Azerite power for your necklace in order to activate certain powers on your armor.
And you have to do your
to be fair,
campaigns.
To be fair, towards the end it didn't matter, because they had so many catch-up mechanics that just bumped you up so many levels. But going through it the first time when we put it, I was like, this is not that great. Again, it's like you're starting off at your main feature as this is a grindy ass feature, like without a whole lot of payoff. And granted, the Legion weapons, the legendary weapons, were totally like grindy as heck too. But it felt better, because it's like once you hit a plateau, it's like boom, super powerful. Like you get this, and then boom, another milestone of power. So that felt way better than the stupid necklace. And then, so talking about grinding the Azerite, grinding the essences as well, like the ranks of the essences in order to get those.
Oh my God.
I was like, that's come
Yeah.
on, like that's
And and to get a full, like, you have to do PvP. You have to PvP,
hmm
right? Like, you have to PvP. You have to, like, what if, I mean, I don't have
like I
time to
don't want a
PvP.
PvP. I'm not
You
trying
know,
to
like,
get.
I used to back in the day, but I don't have I don't PvP,
I
right?
don't do it, and it's not
Like,
fun. Yeah,
yeah,
for me.
so clearly we're not going to get that achievement. And for me, like, it's all about achievements, you know.
Yeah.
So when I saw that I couldn't even get the other essences because of that, I was like, this is stupid.
hmm
So you're going to make people do battlegrounds and PvP arena. I'm
And
talking about like arena.
the thing is, it's like it's not people, and you're not getting people to do that. You're maybe getting a small fraction of people like, okay, I'll give it a try, who might like it and stick with it, and actually, okay,
Yeah.
cool, I discovered another aspect of the game. But for dude, people like us, resubbing, constantly,
Yeah.
we figured out a long time ago, are like, if we're not into PvP now, or
Yeah.
we were never into PvP really before, and that was a chance for us to get hooked into it. Now it's like, no, that ship sailed, dude.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be doing that. Yeah, that's lame. But I guess we opened up the discussion just totally shitting on BFA.
BFA.
What I did like was I actually liked parts of the storyline. So I liked the storyline playing through, especially for Alliance. I think that was fun. I'm glad that I rolled both a Horde character early on and played through that, and then playing an Alliance now, like months later. I was a lot able to appreciate the Alliance side of things, just for having a break in between, because the storylines were cool. Like playing through Dressbar, the whole witches are taking over the whole.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I was like, that's a cool that's a cool villain to set up.
Or even the kind of the Wicker Man.
Yeah, the
That
Wicker Man.
whole,
That was
like, yeah.
that was super
I was like,
creepy
ooh,
and like dark.
right,
I was like, I
creepy.
like that. I also like parts of the what do you call it? Not Dressbar. What's the other? There's Terror Guard Sound, Dressbar, and then Storm
Song.
Song.
Storm Song Valley.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the whole old gods kind of vibe to it. Like there's a cult.
Yeah.
There's a cult happening, and then that people are all freaked out, and there's like corruption of power. That was really cool.
Yeah.
The whole storyline of Jaina's storyline, like I liked all that stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah. So the reason why I mentioned that to you before, I don't know if you noticed, but when I watched the Covenants, I've never seen the animated short for Jaina.
Oh, the one when they're singing the sailing song.
Yeah, and in the end,
yeah,
how she
that
said
was great.
like watch out for me or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
That was.
I was like, that makes me like her even more.
And you have a female mage character. That's like
right.
That's your queen right there.
Yeah, right, exactly. But you're right, because I leveled my mage to 120. So I did play BFA Horde for a little bit, just to check it out. And Alliance storyline, I think, probably is better.
I think so too. I think
I enjoyed it more.
To me more.
Yeah.
And I like cared more about what was happening. That's not to say that the Horde storyline was bad, but I'm thinking about the Horde storyline like now. I feel like 2 years removed, right? Like from when I last played it. But I remember it just being, it was all right. It was fine. But I didn't feel nearly as compelled as like with the other stuff. Like it was
okay.
I liked the jungle one with the blood tribe of elves.
Yeah.
Like, those are kind of cool. Like the primitive elves that were like super into blood sacrifices. Okay, that was dope. But I didn't really care for the whole snake people, the Sethic, in the Vol'dun thing.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Vol'dun was just kind of like a blah place for me.
Yeah.
It was just too brown and featureless. But I for the most part, I did like the stuff with the king.
Zundalari?
Yeah, I like the Rusticon.
Yeah,
like,
I actually I unlocked them. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I unlocked the trolls.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I hate about BFA is the storyline, because
funny.
So while I like the individual stories of Kul'Tiras, right, and then the individual stories for the most part of Zandalar, right, the whole overarching conflict of the Horde and Alliance was completely flat. I didn't care, and it felt like two different expansions on top of each other that didn't quite work. I think this would have worked better with, the humans are reconnecting with Kul'Tiras, and then the Horde are reconnecting with the Zandalari trolls, right? And
Zenlari.
they both expand their nations or whatever. And then here comes the old god. Maybe the old god's stirring up some stuff here and there, causing some kind of, I don't know, battle, or like not a battle for Azeroth, but like some kind of like lighter conflict. And then it turns out, oh, it's they're setting up because here comes Queen Azara kind of thing. And because
Yeah.
you throw in this whole premise of like, okay, and the whole opening cinematic is like that whole epic battle of Lordaeron.
Between the
Yeah,
yeah.
with Sylvanas coming out shouting for the Horde, and then Mr. Resurrection dude. And then somehow it ends with N'Zoth, right? Like where
Like, where did this come?
where
Yeah.
did it come from? Like it's so
Yeah.
off kilter. Legion was awesome because it made sense. It's like you started
Yeah.
with the Burning Legion. Duh, that's the thing. Where did they come from? They come from the demon
Yeah.
planes, right, of Argus. So that's where you end up, and Argus has everything to do with Titans and what have you. That made sense, even though it like went from the Legion's invading to we're going to a planet and shutting them down and killing the main Titan forever. It storyline made a whole lot of sense to get to that point. This one was just like, oh, we're fighting, and then somehow Sylvanas is the bad guy, and she's just gonna take off.
Yeah.
And I guess we're not fighting anymore.
And then
Now what? Like that's awkward. Like,
yeah.
and I hate the fact that did you get to the cinematic where they have that? It was a cool cinematic where she has that duel with Sarfang at the gates of Orgrimmar. It's part of like part of the campaign.
The beginning. Yeah. I think I may have seen it. I think so.
It's like a fully animated one, and so she has that duel with Sarfang, and then she basically says, "Oh, I don't even need the Horde," and then she like goes away in a puff of smoke kind of thing. I'm like thinking to myself, like the Forsaken who are left behind are like, so what do we do now? Like,
Yeah.
So like their leader just takes off. They're supposed to be loyal to her.
I never trusted her.
Well, yeah, but that's true. But I just feel like they did her. I know that she was supposed to be the catalyst for the Shadowlands, which she is, right? And they had to tell that story to get her to that point. But it felt like so poorly done the entire time.
Almost like they rushed it.
They rushed it without any. It was like Game of Thrones rushing. You know what I mean? It's like they just like, oh, what? Like you were leading the Horde as the war chief. And then all of a sudden you're like, I don't need the Horde. And
You're like, peace out.
Where the hell did this come from? Like, who's the Sylvanas? And now I don't know who, and we don't know who's in charge of the Horde either, coming out of BFA, which is weird.
Yeah.
So I liked the storyline, and I hated that storyline. In addition to that too, I hated the fact that the war fronts were a part of that. Like, were part of all that. That was lame. I was like, that's kind of a waste of time. The island expeditions were also part of that. I'm just like,
waste of time.
That was boring. Like that wasn't fun. I get that they're trying to add these little sub games to keep.
I only
busy,
did that when I was Horde.
but it was like super grindy again.
It was, yeah.
You know what I did like, to not take a dump on this, allied races. I really like.
Yes.
Allied
okay,
races.
that is yeah.
Let's talk about allied races.
Yeah. I do, because I have I unlocked all of them except for one.
Did you expect, like, when you first heard about allied races, when it came into your contract, did you expect that you would want to do all that?
No.
I didn't. Yeah. Because to me, I was like, dude,
I didn't.
like, do I want...
I was like, do I want to do all that stuff just for that?
Mm-hmm.
Because like with the Zandalari trolls, when I was Horde with the mage, I felt like it was easy. I don't know, when I was questing, when I was leveling, it didn't seem hard to do because it kind of just it all fell into place. Like I wasn't really trying hard to get.
It was just part of
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just part
it was part of it. And then when I switched over to Alliance and I saw, oh, okay, so there's this, and that, and I'm like,
oh, I want those.
yeah. But I'm like, but wait, what do I have to do? Oh, do I really want to do that? You know?
Yeah, totally. No, totally there.
But thanks to COVID,
mm-hmm.
you know, I have the time because I can work and play at the same time.
And reps at the same time.
So it literally like took me a day and a half, 2 days to get exalted.
Wow.
With the Lightforge, right? I think I told you.
Going back to the Legion ones, yeah.
Yeah, it was quick. I did like the dailies and just did.
Well, part of that too is that you're overpowered for the content, so you're just like one-shotting.
Oh, especially the mage.
Yeah, and just blast
She's
them
like
through.
the best to do old content.
That's awesome.
She's like
Yeah,
goes through
done
everything.
deal. But yeah, allied races I love because I remember unlocking a high mountain Tauren the first time around to play, and
Oh yeah, see, so you got one.
I got one before. This is when I first
Yeah,
played.
yeah, yeah.
And then I was playing Alliance again. I was like, and I kind of knew in the back of my head, I was like, oh yeah, I remember allied races were a thing. And then as I'm trying to like unlock stuff, or I was like trying to make a new character, I'm like, okay, that looks kind of cool. Like just messing around with
Seeing
like the
them?
just seeing them.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's kind of
You're just
neat.
like,
I was like,
ooh, that's
ooh,
nice.
well
Yeah.
well, why not? And so
Yeah.
and then you do the first one, and I think my first one was Dark Iron, and it was funny that the quest where you have to go into, I think it's Freehold, in order to get the quest item to unlock the Dark Iron doors. Is like literally the first person was like, I'm just literally here for the Dark Iron quest, and so was everyone
Yeah.
else.
I was with you.
Yeah, I thought that was super.
Yeah, it was the last boss, and we're like, we're only here to open up.
We
Yeah.
we just need to
Oh,
unlock.
because I already did it.
Yes,
And
you
then
were
I did
helping
it
me.
with you. Yeah, that's right. That's
But
right.
that was I just
Yeah.
thought it was super funny. Like but yeah, it's like to me, I suddenly got this weird itch. Like I want to unlock all of them because I want to make even like the mechanomes. As I was like, I don't know if I think they're that cool. They're kind of
They're awesome.
And then like I come to see them and I'm playing around. Like I was like, that's kind of cool. And I start getting in my head like, what if you're like, you could totally roleplay as like the killer droid robots from like Star Wars that are just like super,
Yeah.
like just all mechanical and then coming in there and being
Yeah.
a rogue and backstabbing stuff. That'd be so cool.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Void Elf. So I'm thinking I would love to do, like we said, the Light Forge Shadow Priests for Revendreth. I think that would be such a cool like character to play. But allied races were for sure my favorite. I wish they would do more. I think there's no plans to add anymore, which is dumb. Or
Oh, I was hoping vampire, like
the
Venthyr.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be awesome. Any like at this point, when I heard about the Volpera, I was like, well, that's lame. Why did they do it? It's like, no, I want a Volpera because they look cool. They're little foxes like running around.
They're kind of cute.
That's
They're
dope.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that I liked about BFA. Anything else? I mean, okay, we should probably wrap this particular discussion. If you had to rate it, where does BFA fall in your ranking of WoW content over the years?
It's hard to answer because I played differently.
True.
Does that make sense?
Hey, no, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's all about the now. Yeah. Because you
Because-
would have to re-rank stuff if you had to rethink about it all again.
Yeah.
Playing through.
Because I played now. I mean, that's a hard question to answer, to be honest. Because I went from like hardcore to casual, right? And going through all the content and doing all the, I don't know. Crap. Why don't you answer that one? I don't even think I can answer that.
I think that
I don't like it that much.
I don't. I feel like
So
all the bad expansions were all the even numbered ones, and I believe this is an even numbered expansion. This is 8.0, right? Yes, right?
is it?
I think it's 8.0.
I think
Or 8.
so.
Yes, it's 8.0. So I didn't like BC. I didn't like Cataclysm. I didn't like Warlords of Draenor. I didn't like this one either.
Oh God, I did not like
Yeah,
That-
and they're all that. They're all
that
the even
was
numbered ones.
horrible. When I
Yes.
was leveling with you,
The Garrison.
the first time I did it, I was like, "This is stupid."
That was like why I was like, okay, we played through it and we was like, well, we quit that sub and didn't even bother playing that again until Legion.
Yeah, that
but
was
yeah.
not.
Which is why our podcast is called Resub, because we keep doing this.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's definitely, I don't think, I like it better than Warlords of Draenor, for sure. I think
it
that
is
was my
definitely
least
better.
favorite. I didn't really care for Cataclysm that much. I played a Goblin Shaman, I think you remember at the time, and that was fun to play through, but then it just kind of petered out for me, I guess. Never made it to the last final raids or anything like that. And I really didn't care for Burning Crusade, and I still don't care for Burning Crusade. Like, I liked it because it was new, because at the time the expansion was cool. But dude, talk about slow grinding. Like, that was all
I think that's
super
what we
slow
don't like,
grinding.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
It's just the grindy, like.
and yeah, true. It's old WoW. That's how they used to play it back in the day. But it still feels really, really grindy. And then like I never really cared too much about the overall arcing story about what was going on too much. Besides the Illidan thing, that was cool. But then at the time, it's like unless you were with the raiding guild, you never got to see the end content. So it's like,
Yeah.
who cares? Like you only had to watch it through like YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
Which bugged me and then yeah. So I would say I like this better than Warlords of Draenor, better than Burning Crusade. Not maybe a tie for Cataclysm. It's probably like it's down there though. Like it's not great. As much as I like playing World of Warcraft, this one was not a fun experience. But I feel like the next one, it's setting up for like a really good. Feels to me it's going to be a good expansion coming up.
I hope so.
It's got to be. Well, I mean, we're going to find out because what the hell else we're going to do.
But yeah, definitely WOD Warlords. Like, oh god.
Yeah.
I did not like that one.
Because the garrison just ruined everything. Made you not want to leave your garrison, and turns out that's
it was
not
stupid.
fun. Yeah.
And they only had 2, or am I wrong? Dungeons? It was because I was only at level 100 or something.
Gotcha.
I didn't like their dungeons.
I didn't like their dungeons either. Like I remember raiding a little bit through there, but it just that got old after a while as well. Like it didn't stick with me. It didn't have the fun factor. So
yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk about what we want to talk about next week. I think because as you saw and pointed out earlier, and I noticed too, we're downloading a huge patch in the background. I think something like 20-something gigs or something like that. So that, to me, is probably the pre-patch and all the events. I'm pretty sure they're already... If you were on the beta or anything like that, I'm not. Or if you listen to beta news, like I think they've gone through it and they've kind of stress tested everything. So there's definitely going to be some kind of invasion angle going on, similar to what I guess would be Wrath of the Lich King, where you saw the undead attack with like the ice dragons. But I don't know if the ice dragons will be here now. So with that said, yeah, we should probably talk about, if you're cool with it, we should probably talk about what life is going to be like
once it's out,
or pre.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't know when it's going to come out. It could potentially come out between now and then. So if it does, we're definitely talking about it. But if it's not, then let's just talk about what we assume, and we'll be completely wrong when it probably does come out.
Yeah, we have no idea.
We have no idea. We don't know what we're talking about. But
no.
Anyways, yeah, that's our episode for tonight. Thank you so much. This one kind of long, but that was fun. That was our impressions of the animated shorts, and also our impressions of BFA now that we're at the end and we're just kind of waiting for the pre-patch. Michelle, where can people find you if they do want to see you outside of this podcast? Are we set up yet?
It's
work in progress.
Yeah. Wait. What? No. You're talking about my Twitch?
Yeah.
It's Michelle Avera 23, but you'll see it down below.
You're gonna sprinkle the effects.
Sprinkle
After
like,
Effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me on my streaming channel sometimes. I'm not at all on a consistent schedule, but that's going to be changing hopefully soon once I kind of get this, parenting stuff down. But you can find me at Ramen Piledriver. That's my Twitch handle, Ramen_Piledriver. Yeah, thank you. That was our show for today. And until next time, enjoy your casual playing of World of Warcraft. Bye, everybody. Wow.